Happy Memorial Day, everybody. I thought I'd post it today because a lot of people are probably off work today, at least judging by the age of the typical viewer of my videos. This is my dad when he was in the Navy in World War II. Remembering you today, Dad. So hi, everybody. I'm continuing to work on the layout. I'm going to show a picture of my hand right now, so if you're squeamish about that kind of stuff, you might want to look away. Yeah, it's not that bad. Just had 4 stitches and healing up pretty good. Get the stitches out next Wednesday, I think. I just have to make sure I keep it dry and clean. Got this thing I'm keeping over it most of the time when I work. And like I'm not, when I cut the rail, I'm not using that hand to cut the rail with, do anything strenuous with it. I am mowing grass, but I'm just not gripping the lawnmower or anything very tight with that hand. All right, so I'm continuing to progress. So this is the trackside transfer that I picked up down in California. What attracted to me that was 2 things. Number one, the color. I like, I don't want all the buildings to be red brick. I sort of like this tan. So I'm going to paint it somehow. I may just dull coat it and weather it. Because I like that tan color. Also, the length attracted me to it. It's a fairly big industry, but it's not going to overwhelm the layout. So I think what I am going to do is I'm going to make it into a bakery, simply because bakeries have an interesting mix of cars. Now, probably at this point, there are like truck bays all on the back, which you're not going to see. I'm going to have it get the rail service with the box cars. Probably going to have, occasionally it's going to get like some oil, cooking oil, sometime with tank cars, and flour with the covered hoppers. So I've been researching bakeries, and I think that would be a good industry for this little layout anyhow. So that's what the plan is. Again, one of the things I don't like about freelancing is I don't feel like I have a great imagination. So I always worry about it's just prototypical, because basically I'm just spitballing this thing. I looked at the pictures, but I'm trying to make it look prototypical, but someone who actually worked in a bakery probably ripped me to shreds over it. So where the actual industries that I do model, I usually do a fair amount of research, and I try to do as accurate as possible. So this is just sort of tacked together right now, sitting on there. I don't have this track glued down because I may move it this way a little bit and put the silos down here. Haven't decided yet, so it's just sort of free floating. Set a couple cars in there to see what it would look like. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put this turnout in. Remember, this turnout is the Electra Frog one, but I'm just going to put a little short track in here and split it up. And again, I'm not going to fasten down those tracks either until I decide what industry I'm going to have. And of course, you remember I'm going to put my great-grandfather's mill right here, sort of abandoned. So one of the tracks is not going to be getting any rail service, but it might be used for car storage or, the idler cars for the to switch the other industry. I'd really like to do a scrapyard, to be honest with you. I really like the way in Oak Hill came out. But I'm toying with the idea of selling Oak Hill as a layout, and I don't want to tear up those. I don't want to tear up that industry to take those I hand painted all those scrap loads. So I'd like to use them again, or I could buy new ones to do this. Flip side of that is I've already modeled a scrapyard. So it came out pretty well. Maybe I need to try to model something different. I don't know. so this side is still up in the air, but we'll go ahead and put this track in off camera, and I'll show you what that looks like. One of the good things about being the CEO and road foreman of your own layout is you can make executive decisions. I've decided to not have a turnout here. I'm just going to have one track. There's just not enough space in here. I want this building to be exactly like it is. I want it to be full size. It's a small building still. It's way smaller than trackside transfer. but I want it to be full size here, so maybe I'll put like where there used to be an abandoned building or abandoned spur in there, but I just don't think there's enough space to have 2 tracks in here at all. So if I decide to use the spacer cars, this is an electric railroad, I need to have spacer cars so I don't have to extend the wires all the way in. I can just park the spacer cars on right here. I can pull in, use the spacer cars to pull the cars from the industry, come out, put the cars here, couple up to the cars I'm delivering with the spacer cars, put them in here, just leave the spacer cars there. So I don't really need another track there. I think it would just overly complicate things. So at this point, I'm not going to glue this down yet until I understand how I want it to go exactly. I'm not going to glue this track down either right now, but they're secured. They're soldered in. They're not going to go anywhere. I may put a piece of tape on them because when I flip the layout upside down, I don't want them flopping around. But we will talk about wiring now. I had to shut the garage door to film this because just that bright background. So I already talked about I'm using an NCE power cab. I've already got this mounted. So the wires, they go into, I've got a couple 14 gauge wires. This is actually leftover wiring from my yard. I had to go to a hardware store like the next county over to get it because there's, not very many places actually sell wire by the foot anymore. You might be able to order it online or something, but most of us when we're working on a project want to do it right away. So I've got this screwed in there, and this will actually, try to get it right, snap into that. So of course I'm going to use the white for the white feeders, the black for the red feeders. Now over here on the, probably can't zoom in, well, these were the first feeders I put in. And when I went and I started working on this way, I got them backwards because the layout was upside down, and I didn't think, the rail closest to me is going to be the rail farthest away from me when I get done. The bottom line is, instead of, this was going to be my standard, but since all those were right, I decided to just flip these. So I cut them off. I've got some red here, I've got a piece of white, and I put some heat shrink tubing. I soldered them together, put some heat shrink tubing. So now I think everything is all right. Of course, when I start hooking these up, I will check one feeder at a time to make sure I don't have a dead short before I continue on. Okay, I've run the wire. I just made a loop around to make sure I can get all the feeders long enough to attach to the bus wire. Again, this is the way I do it. So some people use terminals, so put in like a terminal, run all the feeders to the terminal. I like Joey, I think it's Joey Ricard, Trackside Scenery. He always says, I'm going to show you how I do it. There are a lot of different ways to do it, but this is how I do it. So, not saying this is the best way, it's the way I do it, and it works for me. So, I use, if you see these things, it's just to hold the wire down, sort of guide it. I think I got them from Lowe's or a package. They had a bunch of different sizes in there. They don't hold the wire tight. The wire can slide through them. I don't want to pinch the wire or anything. I did put some tape on the ends though to keep it from pulling through where they're at on the ends. I had just enough wire to do this. So it'll be neat. It won't be hanging down underneath. So now how do I attach the feeders to the bus wires? I use what's called suitcase connectors. So I've already got one on there. So what they are is, the reason why I call it suitcase is because, I'll see if I can hold one in here, is you put the wire, this side is open. That's where you put the bus wire all the way through. The other side, you can't see through it. That's where you put the feeder wire. It's got a stopper at this end. So you throw the feeder wire in this end, push it tight against the stopper, snap this in, and then you push down on this with the pair of pliers. And that makes the electrical connection between the two. I've never had these two fail me. So I said, you press down on this with a pair of pliers, And then when you're done, listen all the way down, you can close this, and that's closing the suitcase. That's why they're called suitcase connectors. So I'll see if I can put one on camera here. I put one on already. Struggled with it because I forgot a tip that I'll tell you when I'm done it. Oh, zoom wrong way. Trying to get to where you can see a little bit. All right. So I've already got the white one here. So the red is going to be the black. So the stopper is on this end. So I'm going to feed the red wire into there, all the way to the end. And I'm just going to take the black wire, if I can get hold of it, and I'm going to snap it in. So what I was trying to do before, which was why I screwed up, was I was trying, oh wait a minute, getting the wrong hole. I was trying to close the plastic and then use the pliers to close that. So hold it like this. Make sure that red wire stays against the stopper. Yeah. Now take your pliers and clamp that down. So when that is flush, the red wire is not coming out. Now you close the suitcase. Nice and neat. So because I'm using Unifrog turnouts, I have one set of feeders connected. I should be able to run a train. So I'm going to flip it back over, go get a locomotive, and see if I can run a train. I don't know if you can hear it. Hopefully you heard that. From my Alco C420. Anyway, I only have one set of feeders connected. In theory, with Unifrogs, that's all you need. I mean, I wouldn't want to have a layout with 25 feet of track or, whatever, with only one set of feeders, obviously. But, Alright, so let's do the crossover. We'll run this way. So the only reason I put as many feeders as I did on this is because I'm worried about that Kato locomotive. Maybe it wouldn't have made any difference at all. Just make sure I don't run off the end here, get talking and looking at something else. I love this locomotive. Benjamin did a fantastic job on it, and I would break my heart if I tore it up. All right, let's go back. Let's just test all the track while we're here. Yep. I wanted to go down the other one, and I turned the wrong turnout, darn it. Come on, baby. All right. Now let's see if that'll work. Go down the spur before I run through the turnout. You guys make me go get a drug test. Looks like everything's going to work. All I did before I ran it, I did run some of this contact cleaner. That's the way I use my preferred method of cleaning track, with a contact cleaner on a little rag. So I wiped that down because, track came right out of the box, thought it might be a little tarnished. I think that will do it for now. What I will do is I will go ahead and put the locomotive up, disconnect the power cab, connect the rest of the feeder wires, and the next installment, I'm surprised nobody has asked me this yet, we're going to talk about powering the frogs. Never done it before. I've got a different way of doing it that I've learned from another video, which I will reference that video to let him get the credit for it. And I will see you soon. Everybody stay safe.